introduces kids to assembling of model kits, and it also has some action to it to keep it fun. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and welcome to an unboxing today. I'm going to do something, I guess every time it's something unusual. This one here, we've got a great white shark from Bandai. Now this is a, I guess, what do they call it? The Exploring Nature Lab range, I think. It's probably written right across the front there. But it's quite interesting because it looks pretty scary coming out of the water. Very classic Jaws type of look. You can see all the teeth. But what you can't tell from here is it's actually really educational. It's got the skeletal interior, and then you build it up to a point where you get this fleshed out shark. And I think that'll make a really good basis for a diorama as well. And it's got that water effect around as well. Okay, let's have a look from the top camera and see what we got. Okay, so you got this scary look here. So this is basically the pose is going to come in. You see it right here. It's got the jaws that can be opened or closed. And you see the different rows of teeth there as well. From the side, we'll see how parts can just be snapped off without the use of side cutters. This is a sort of a new type of thing that Bandai have incorporated in some of their beginners kits, so that you don't need any tools to start building. And then you've got the wrinkles in the gummy bits. You've got all the multiple teeth, and then you've got the mouth opening action. So you push a button and it's got the sort of jaw action happening. Over here we've got a sort of a fold out instruction manual, which is really educational as well. So let's crack it open and we'll have a look at what we get inside. Okay, so you got the classic multicolored parts from Bandai. Let's pull them all out here. Okay, so we've got the gummy bits, they're all rubberized. Gummy bits should be gummy, right? So we've got rubber bits there. We've got clear water parts here. How about, since I've got this out here, we'll have a closer look at it. So they've done all the splash, and because it's semi-transparent, it's got a real depth to it. So as I move around to different angles, you see how the blue changes. And then we've got the little contraptions here. There's the base. So this is where the button's going to be that you press to get the jaw to come down. There's a button there. So that'll just be the sliding action. Now if I do a close-up, let's see if we can get a closer look at. There you go. So you've got that splash texture as well, which has been molded in. I think it's quite clever how they've done that, and you'll be able to see how my hands can just be viewed through it. It's transparent. Okay, so from there, let's have a look at this main part here. This is very classical, multicolored by Bandai. Okay, so this section here, which is a sort of, that's a skull sections. Let's see if I can find something a bit darker that, we'll go with this. Hopefully you can see better on this background because I've got a bit of white happening here. There we go. So these sections here are a bony color. They're an off-white. These are pure white, so that's the base of the jaw for our, well, the jaws, I guess you call them. There's his chin. That's the bottom part of the jaw that will be flapping around. We've got all the teeth sections here. So top jaw, bottom jaw. And then we've got all the sort of skeletal parts. You've got the sides of the skull. So you've got a left and a right. And then also for the base of the jaw as well. So quite clever in that it feels like you're building up from the skeleton all the way to fleshing it out. And then you've got the darker parts, which is the top of the head and the base of the head. And these really black parts here, I'm not too sure. I'm guessing they could be the eyeballs, I'm guessing. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors on that sprue. Very classical Bandai. Okay, now if I do a quick zoom in here, have a closer look at, here's one side of the skull. Gone too far. So I'm just trying to focus here for you. There we go. Just missed it. There we go. Okay, so there's a skull section. One half, and then there's the other half. Here you've got the white sections for the bottom of the jaw and such. Here's the teeth. Sharp teeth, scary, scary. I guess the great white shark is quite a subject of Australia because we quite often see great whites come up to the coast and scare people, and occasionally they even attack people, which isn't so great, but that's a part of the world that we live in. You can see that black there, that's a very, very high gloss finish. Okay, now apart from that, what else we have? We've got the gummy bits. There we go, gummy bits. Let's get a bit closer there. Okay, so this is where you can see the wrinkles and such. So they're molded in these wrinkles. You can just see how flexible this is. Really soft. So they're just going to fit over the teeth. Really a nice touch. It's got that fleshy color. So you don't need any painting at all. Okay. Now, what do we got now? The manual. So let's pull a manual across here. Move that aside. Let's get this zoomed out so we can get all of the manual in there. That's pretty good. Get that zoomed and focused right. Okay, so here we've got the legend of all the parts. So you know exactly where you find the parts that you need for construction. And this is one of those fold out type manuals. Okay, so there's the construction. So what we're going to start with is a display base, and display base is where the action happens. So you've got these levers that are pressed into place and it clips, and then that's going to control the draw action. So from here we actually go across this way, I think. Part one. Yep, we go across here. So there's more of the base here. You've got the two halves being pressed together. And this is how you check the action of the jaw. So pressing in the button will bring down the jaw, and pulling it out will take up the jaw. You've got the base that goes across there, and then the base of the base. And then that's done. Now we move on to step 2. This is actually building the great white shark, which in Japanese is the Hohojiro Zame. So Same means shark. And then we get into the attachment of the skull sections onto your base for the action. So you've got the two halves going together. Over here we've got the teeth going into the rubbery gummy bits. That gets attached. And you just have to follow to make sure that the hinges go into the right spots to get the action working. And by pulling in and out the little button, you'll be able to make sure that that action works. From here we've got those little black bits. So the shiny black bits were the eyes. They get popped into the head area there. Then you've got to make sure that the switch is pulled out so they can actually have access to put the headpiece on. Then you've got a little bit of trivia just to keep you entertained as you're going along, talking about the teeth. Over here we've got the lower jaw being put together, lower gums, lower teeth, they get put into place, and then you can check the action again just up here. And by moving in and out, you get the flappy action. More trivia again, that time about the jaws. Now we do the outside jaws, the skin I guess, connect that up, and then we've got the splash effect that goes over the top of your shark, and then that's it, you're finished. So by moving the little button here, you get him to open his mouth or close his mouth, and that's it, that's a complete assembly. Now as you turn over, you get all this additional information. So this is the educational part, a lot of info about sharks. This shows how the actual shark closes his mouth and opens his mouth. It's pretty scary. And then that's also across this side. So this is absolutely fantastic for kids. And then here is an explanation of how this jaw action works and how it actually works on the real shark. So I think that's wonderful. Very educational, introduces kids to assembling of model kits, and it also has some action to it to keep it fun. And for anyone else that builds a lot of kits, I think there's a lot of scope in using this for a diorama. Imagine if you put a little lever on here, acted by a servo with an Arduino, you can get that automatically like opening and closing its mouth and make a dynamic diorama. So there you go, that's a new Bandai Great White Shark. And I think that's a great kit. So if you enjoyed that open box, please give me a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. So thank you for joining me.